please welcome back Courtney Maywald, Director of Marketing, Partner and Industry.
Hello, did you miss me? New dress? Yeah. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again. So we're going to talk to two amazing panelists. I know all of our panelists have been amazing, and this is no exception. We have Geraldine and Ernest, who are joining us from Citizen M and Disneyland Paris, and we're going to be talking about delivering amazing, elevated experience for travelers, which are worth traveling for. So can welcome our panelists. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. I think we should start with an introduction, maybe to yourselves personally in terms of your role, but also maybe just a little bit about the brands that you work for.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, first, thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
I know we're in between the audience and Nigella, so we'll try to make it brief.
We are. I'm getting a bit sweaty, guys, I have to admit.
So I'm Ernest Lee. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for Citizen M Hotels. We are a Dutch hotel company born about 16 years ago, and we operate in a segment that we call affordable luxury, which basically means that we provide a high design, high experience hotel at an accessible price point. And right now we're at about 44 hotels in the major cities within Europe and the US, and a few in Asia as well. And yeah, we're continuing to grow rapidly.
44, that's even more than I was expecting. Amazing.
Yep.
Well done.
Getting big.
Congrats. Geraldine?
Hello, I'm Géraldine Nintré. I'm Senior Sales Manager at Disneyland Paris, focusing on OTA distribution and park ticket sales. So at Disneyland Paris, we have 2 theme parks, 7 hotels, 2 convention centers, and a Disney Village with shops and restaurants. And so the idea is to sell ourselves as a standalone destination or one-day visit to spice up your trip to Paris. And that's what we have been trying to do with Booking.com. And thank you for your invitation.
Love it. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get started. So we've been talking throughout Click. Our whole theme has been about the fact that Booking.com, you guys should be able to finish this for me by now. Booking.com are making travel easier, but it's all of you, all of our partners who actually make travel unforgettable. So can you each tell me what unforgettable means for your brands? Should we start with you maybe, Geraldine?
Yes. So for us at Disney, it's all about the emotional connection that we create with our guests. The consumer, we call them guests.
Yeah.
And it's about creating the place where dreams come true. So it starts with great storytelling. We have an amazing team that creates such amazing stories.
Yeah.
It's for all of us a huge attention to each details. So our guests are really immersed in their favorite Disney stories, and they enjoy them with their loved ones. And also, all of that magic, it happens because we have some great cast members. Employees are called cast members that are passionate about the brand, and they have a real expertise to really ease the interaction with the guest and create this experiences.
It's amazing. Just a little fun fact for you all. At Booking.com, we are very conscious not to use the word guests. We don't have guests because in research once a partner in Australia made very clear to me, I take umbrage with Booking.com using the word guest. You don't have guests. And that's also partly what led to this whole theme and, our acknowledgement about our role in the travel industry and what we do and don't play. So there you go. Ernest, what about you? How does Citizen M make travel unforgettable?
Well, we do have guests, so
You
we
do
try to
have
make
guests?
it unforgettable for our guests.
Yes.
So yeah, our business is super simple, right? We try to deliver 3 things that sound like common sense, but in practice and execution is exceptionally hard. And we really just try to focus on these 3 things, which are number 1, convenience, right? Have a product that's very easy to use when it turns from discovery to booking to payment to on-premise usage. Number 2 is human connection, making sure that we're getting the right audience of like-minded travelers, like-minded people together so that there's validation, hey, you're in the right place, and we're also relevant for you and connecting between us and our guests. And number three is personalization, right? And to us, that's really the secret sauce, is how do you elevate that experience so that we can make it feel like you're staying at your home, what you're staying at your siblings, your friends. And that, for us, has really critically dependent on how much data and insight that we could build in terms of building that relationship with our customer, building that profile, and we could go into things like a surprise and delight, and we really know you in a non-invasive way, but from a pure sort of familiarity perspective.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that data point in a little bit more detail in a little while, because I think that's very interesting for both of your brands, actually, and obviously being a Booking.com geek, data. But I would love to understand how both of your brands go about designing amazing experiences, because they don't just happen by accident, right? There's a bit of science and art coming together. Do you want to start, maybe, Ernest?
Yeah, so we always approach any design in sort of a circular manner, right? Which is, you have an idea, you try to test it, validate, and then come back to the idea, refine. Okay. But the easiest way to kind of segment our brain is the hard and the soft aspects. So the hard aspects are always the transactionally oriented. So how strong is our value proposition? Is it relevant? Is the offering relevant? How quickly does the math become for our guest and our customer so that they can understand I'm realizing a return very quickly and I'm realizing value very quickly? And on the softer side is really the emotional connection that we deliver, right? How strong is that service element? Are we resonating on a human level? How like-minded of an audience are we becoming so that there is that stamp of approval that, yeah, fellow-minded travelers are visiting this company at the same time? And for us, we see that translate typically in terms of level of engagement and how top of mind we become. And so it's this constant balance that we're doing in the laboratory, together in a customer feedback loop, and going in this circle to make sure that everything is working well, to understand what we're doing strongly and what we're doing in not so strongly.
And what does the laboratory look like? Like, who are the mad scientists that are at your lab designing those experiences?
Yeah, so we always approach things in sort of a holistic customer funnel standpoint. So okay. Not only are we getting feedback from the people that are actually frontline on the ground with our guests, but also our customer experience teams, whether that's on a more analog format or pure digital. We're getting feedback from our sales associates, because to us, they're getting constant feedback from travel managers, our distribution and channel partners. And for us, is making sure that we have this structure in place so that that feedback is there, so that it can help inform our strategy, help inform our offering, and help us steer as to what we do well, what we don't do so well.
And I promise I'm going to come to you in a minute, because I know it's your turn to answer the question. I just want to dig into this a bit more. Can you maybe, Ernest, for the benefit of our audience, I've stayed at a few Citizen M's over the course of many years, but for those who aren't so familiar with the concept, when we're talking about imagining experiences and designing experiences, what would be one example of an innovation that you've brought to the hotel industry that took that sort of, imagination and design?
Yeah. So we have a slight advantage in the hotel industry, because I think all of us being industry professionals, we understand that hotels have become very fragmented in nature. And so for us, we're one of a few remaining pure owner-operators at scale. So we said, okay, what can we do within our core advantage that helps us cope with maybe our scale disadvantages that really resonate with our customers and can drive loyalty and engagement at a much higher level? And one of the things that we developed was a paid membership platform called My Citizen M Plus, which, to describe it simply, it would basically be kind of like an Amazon Prime for hotels. You commit to us on an annual subscription, and the unlock is basically the benefits level that you would get at the highest tier of one of the big chain loyalty programs. And the reason that we did that was really to focus on going back to the big three, right? One, convenience, right? We wanted to make it super easy to use and super stress-free. So if you're a frequent traveler with us, that you don't have to think about, let's say, for example, a last-minute booking, that there will be a room guaranteed available for you. You'll always have a room with a good view. You'll have late checkout. And number two is human connection, which is really building a community of these frequent travelers together so that they're constantly in a vibe and an energy that resonates with them. And sometimes we do that in a more organic manner where people can serendipitously sort of come into engagement with each other, or we'll do it in an organized manner where we have events, networking, mixers, things like that. And the third is personalization, which is this has now created the kickstart to this long-term relationship where we could build a data profile, insights, and really understand, ooh, Courtney really likes
Chocolate.
oat milk lattes, right?
Definitely not
Yeah.
oat milk. But yes.
Okay. Bombay martini.
Nice
right?
try. Martinis, yes.
And she's flying in super late into Schiphol Airport, and she didn't really, have, everything together. But we know she had a tough day, and what's waiting for her at her check-in? A Bombay martini. And so for us, like having this level of engagement and having this relationship really allows us to have these surprise and delight moments where she doesn't have to ask us anymore. So we're not in a reactive service mode, but we're in a predictive service mode. And for us, that's the real unlock.
Yeah, I love that. And also, is anyone thirsty all of a sudden? Yeah.